Hi Mama. Today we're going to go through breathing techniques for labor. So previously we have gone through how different positions and mobility work, as well as labor positions, which you will also get a guide on, can help you to relax the pelvic floor and relax the body in labor. But there is also another technique, a very valuable one, that we're going to practice that can further help you to relax the pelvic floor in labor, and that is your breath or breath technique. So we're going to walk through the different stages of labor now and the different techniques that I want you to practice. So the first part of labor, or active labor, early labor, is where the cervical dilation is starting to happen. What I want you to focus on is diaphragmatic breathing. So something that I talk a lot about all the time, and we're going to practice it a lot because active or early labor can last for a long time. Usually at the start, obviously there's great excitement, kind of anxiety, stress, a lot of fear, and so we want to calm all those nerves so the pelvic floor can relax and the cervix can dilate so we can get to the next section. So with the diaphragmatic breathing, I want you to start practicing inhaling into your ribs, into your belly, and down into your pelvic floor. So that's the most important part, is inhaling and lengthening and loading that pelvic floor. So we'll use the bicep analogy as always. So when you inhale, just because I'm inhaling does not mean I let my arm go completely floppy, right? I keep some tension on that eccentric part before it comes back into that contraction. So I want you to remember that we do want to inhale into that pelvic floor. So there's a few ways that you can practice this or use different things to visualize it. So number one is you can literally put your fingers on your perineum, so sit on 2 fingers and sit on that perineum and inhale. I want you to feel you pushing into the perineum. So the perineum is obviously that muscle part between your anus and your vagina. So inhale and see if you can feel you pushing into those 2 fingers. The other thing is to literally get a mirror and look and be like, yeah, that's what's happening right now when I inhale. The other thing you can do is visualization. So you can visualize, if I had 2 fingers in my vagina, can I inhale and push them back out? Can I push out a tampon, or could I push out my partner's penis? Okay, so there's 3 things that you can visualize with that inhale. The second layer of this is, yes, we're going to diaphragmatic breathe, so you're going to inhale. Okay, on the exhale, we are going to relax. Okay, so no kegels, no contraction of the pelvic floor at all when we're prepping for labor and birth. We want to keep that pelvic floor as tension-free as possible. The second layer then to that diaphragmatic breathing is going to be breathing really slow and deep, okay, because that will help calm down your nervous system. So I want you to practice a 3-to-6 ratio of inhale to exhale. So you're going to inhale and you're going to exhale. I said 3-to-6 ratio. Inhale into that pelvic floor, into the perineum. After that, we're going to move into the pushing, or the pushing part of labor. So there's 2 different breathing techniques that we're going to discuss here. There is closed glotis, often called purple pushing. This is the technique that most hospitals will teach because it is easy to teach, especially in that moment. And obviously, we know a lot of the time hospitals will always go for more the easier route than the best route. That being said, in that moment, there are many people who use closed or purple pushing and are perfectly fine. Also, if you have not worked with your pelvic floor, if you have not worked on diaphragmatic breathing, have any understanding what inhaling into your pelvic floor sounds like or feels like, then it is very hard to try and teach that in the moment with everything else that is going on. But that is why we're teaching it now and why I want you to practice the open glottis, which I'll go through in a second. So what is closed glottis? So closed glottis or purple pushing, which they teach in the hospital, is where they're going to get you to inhale. There's a contraction coming, but we're getting ready to push, and we're going to hold your breath and bear down for 10-second count, right? So they're going to go inhale, you're going to exhale. Okay, I've even heard some of my clients say they've been told to imagine they're pushing out a poo, okay, which we do not want to do. I might just add that. Also, we know from research that 6 to 8 seconds on that push is actually more effective than 10 seconds. And those extra seconds could be what is causing your pelvic floor to tear or other things to tear. So that's what they teach you in the hospital. Now we're going to move to open glottis, okay? And this is what I'm going to help you go through and practice. So on your open glottis, we are going to inhale like we would on any of our movements. So you're going to inhale. Remember, we're going to inhale into the perineum, into that pelvic floor. Okay, there's a contraction coming. We're going to exhale, and we're going to exhale through that push. Okay, so that's the difference. Same way you exhale through your squat, through your deadlift, you're going to exhale through this pushing motion. So it is a forceful exhale. It is not a like, ooh, I'm blowing out a candle. It has to be forceful. We have to get that baby to move down. So I want you to practice. You're going to do a big loud shush with a really deep grrr noise. So you're going to inhale, and then you're going to shush. So remember, you are forcefully pushing down into that lower spectrum of your voice, okay? So that is open glottis breathing and open glottis pushing.